The mic's on now, so we're
Right. The internet hears you.
yeah.
Right.
Should have got me some Joe. Should have got me some coffee. So, had a planning meeting. The first didn't go to the
Yeah.
Hogan
Yeah, I know.
lesson. So I figured Bruce had
was
probably
really-
led the
It was
singing.
really good. Lot of native people attended, even from down Kayenta. And they took us down the road to the Potash, put us on a boat, went down the river, and then a 4x4 side-by-side met us there, took us up on the hill to the Hogan. They have a big dinner up there and ceremony, blessing the Hogan, take about an hour. Curtis Yenido did it. It was really
Great.
I
impressive.
wanted to go. Changes it on that. I had to follow my medicine bundle all the way to Round Rock to do blessing over there.
Then we went back and got on the boat, back by the Potash and got in our car and
Head on.
head home.
Thanks for attending that, Bruce.
Yeah.
That's really important. It just so happened that I had to follow my medicine bundle to do a blessing where I needed to be. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Commissioners' Work Session, work meeting this morning. I'd like to ask to see if we can put our phones on vibrate or maybe shut them down. We have some sessions that we'll be going through, and please be courteous enough to share some time so we can get out of the work session right at 11 o'clock so we can proceed with our commission meeting. And the first item that we have on the agenda, San Juan Stampede Pro Rodeo update. Yummy. Wow.
Want me to sit here?
Yes.
I haven't been in since we moved from the golf course, so.
And that mic is for the live stream. It's
Yeah.
not
Okay.
for this room.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
it's just for the live stream that's happening over here.
Okay. So I'm on
So,
camera. This
well,
is
you're
scary.
you're probably in New York.
Oh,
and
perfect.
all
well-
over the world.
So I haven't met the two of you yet. So I can kind of give you a little bit of an update on the San Juan Stampede Rodeo. Did either of you attend it last year?
No.
Okay. So this will be our third year doing it. We're getting bigger and bigger every year. Last year we had probably 10 or 15 contestants come that are attending the NFR regularly, have won world championships. We had Casey Fields here. We had a bunch of the Wright boys here last year. So it's really
Brittany Posey.
yeah.
The
We've
list
just
goes on.
yeah. It's just been really cool. So
Did you get to watch?
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So what I'm wondering is, in last year we had the commissioners come one a night. This year we have a title sponsor, which we've never had before, because Z Motors is going to be our title sponsor. And so we're wanting to run some Ford trucks through the arena every night. And I was wondering if you guys would want to or be willing to ride around in a Ford truck and wave, and we'll kind of do a little spill on you guys. And
Just don't let them drive.
just don't let them drive. We'll put you in the back. We'll put you in the back. Is that something that you guys would want to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
I think Willie would love to drive Ford.
Okay. So
Why Ford?
if they'll give us money, no, just kidding. That's all I
Yeah.
drive too. So we can do that. We have a couple options. You guys can either do it just at the beginning, and like do a welcoming. We can have it. You guys do it towards the end, and when we're throwing out the barrels, you guys can go around, or we can have you do both. So whichever one you guys prefer.
Well, wherever you can stick me and my commissioners, I'll be open for that.
Okay. Okay. Let's plan on them both. Let's have
Okay.
you go around at the beginning, and then
I can drop off the barrel and Bruce can pick up the barrel.
yeah, that'll work. That'll work. So
Who's gonna fight the bulls?
You hold on to the bulls.
okay, let me see what else I got here. This year we're doing stuff a little bit different with our ticketing. Instead of being able to purchase tickets at San Juan Record or at BCL, we've done all of our ticketing online this year, so they can just go online and get them. We're hoping that ends up making things a little bit easier, a little smoother. We have a local barrel race going to be each night. We're going to have 5 local barrel racers a night. So if you hear of anybody that would like to run, point them our way and we'll get them in. We have Gizmo McCracken. He's our specialty act this year, and he's won Comedy Act of the Year several times, Barrel Man of the Year several times. So we're pretty lucky to be getting him again. We got lots of vendors this year. So in the past, we've only had food vendors, and this year we have a variety of different vendors. So we're excited there. And then our stock contractor set us up with a guy. His name's Felix. And he's bringing a dancing horse, and he's doing it for free. Actually, he's sponsoring us. He's given us $1,000 to come and do his dancing horse. So we get a specialty act for free, well, plus $1,000. So we're excited about that. And then our stock contractor will be in this Wednesday, or not this Wednesday, not tomorrow, but the following Wednesday. So yeah, but I think everything's going good and running smooth, and I'm excited for you guys to get to see the rodeo.
Who's your bullfighter?
We have, you would ask me that, and I would space him. Tyson, dang it, I can't remember their names right now.
I think I know who you're talking about. He's bringing his whole act in.
No, he's not. So our stock contractor actually hires all of our,
okay.
he hires our sound man, he hires the bullfighters, he hires a specialty act, and we just tell him okay or no. We're like, yeah, we like that one. No, don't get that one. So he does all the hard work, and we just get to say whether we want him or not. So,
Okay.
but
What are the dates?
the 13th, 14th, and 15th.
July.
Are you going to be gone? No, June.
June.
Yep.
Oh.
Are you going to be gone? Okay, I was
I'm
going to
gonna be
say. You are going to be gone? Oh, that's a bummer.
CIB training all 3 days in
Oh,
Vernal. So they have to
okay.
do the barrels.
Sorry about that, Bruce.
Gotta get that
The
helicopter.
15th, you say?
Uh-huh.
I'll be back the 15th.
Okay.
In fact, I should be back the 14th, night of the 14th.
Okay.
Starts at 7.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Great. Great.
So I brought some hats for you guys. We've got a little different stuff this year. In the years past, we've just done shirts. We've had a lot of our sponsors say that they would prefer hats, so we went with hats and shirts this year. So I'll leave these here, and you guys can choose which color you want.
Okay.
And then who do I get with to get your numbers and stuff to set up? I haven't met you, so I'll get with you, and we can set up arrangements for the rodeo and driving and all of that. So
Want a red one, Bruce?
What color does Donald Trump wear?
That's a reason.
here you go. Okay. Well, is there any questions for me?
No, we'll be
Okay.
looking forward to the event, though.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yes,
Guys, have a
thank
good
you.
day.
Are you okay on your financing this year?
Yep, I think we're doing
What
pretty
was
good.
left over and
Yep.
Good.
So, I think we're doing good.
Okay, thank you. Humane Society?
Hi, thank you for putting me on the agenda today. I appreciate it. My name is Saxon Sharp. I'm with the Humane Society of Moab Valley. And I wanted to come and give you a little bit of an update and tell you about what we've done in the past in San Juan County and what we have going in the future. So, first, a little bit of background. The Humane Society of Moab Valley is a 501c3 nonprofit corporation, started 19 years ago. We're not affiliated with other humane societies. We're our own entity, and we receive our budget from donations from residents, monies from Grand County, San Juan County, Green River, and Moab City. And occasionally we receive grants from other nonprofit animal welfare organizations. Our budget's about $120,000 a year, and we achieved no-kill status in 2004. So our priorities are spay-neuter for owned pets, spay-neuter for homeless pets, spay-neuter for feral cats. We're big on spay-neuter, and adoption of homeless dogs and cats, and education. So our staff is really lean. We have one full-time staff person and a part-time staff person. The majority of our donations to fund our priorities come from residents in Grand and northern San Juan County. So the primary area we serve is Moab Valley, which includes Spanish Valley and San Juan County. And we've been providing spay-neuter services for northern San Juan County since 2002. So San Juan County began making an annual donation to us in 2015, and we very much appreciate that support. All the money we get from San Juan County goes back to San Juan County for spay-neuter. Any donations we get from San Juan County residents in like Moab, Blanding, Bluff area also goes to San Juan County. We normally match, the Humane Society normally matches that amount, which has been $1,000 that San Juan County's given us every year, and all that money goes to spay-neuter in San Juan County. We have clinics that we have here. Usually it's at the Blanding Ambulance Garage. Once a year, the clinics are 1 or 2 days per year, and depending on the money that we have. And pet owners.
Do you usually advertise that you're going to be headed down south, like?
Yes, we advertise in the San Juan Record.
Okay.
So, and we're going to be having a clinic this summer. We don't have a date set yet, so keep an eye out for that. And you should show up. It's pretty amazing. There's just cages of dogs and cats, and some amount of coming out of their surgeries, and it's pretty amazing. I mean, if you think of 40 animals down there in the garage, all piled up in crates.
Yeah.
So since 2015, we've spayed or neutered 745 pets and spent almost $54,000 in San Juan County. So we received $35,000 from PetSmart Charities and Petco Foundation in 2016 and 2017. And these were competitive nationwide grants, so we felt like we did really well. The remaining $19,000 came from a person who put us in their will. So we put that money down here because we felt there was a real need in San Juan County. We don't really have the resources to do a major program, but anytime we can write a grant or get monies, we try and filter it down here because there is a real need. So let's see. The point I want to make is that there's really a high demand for spay-neuter in San Juan County. Generally, our clinics are filled within 24 hours, because you have to make an appointment, and we've had to turn people away. So we will be writing more grants because we want to support you down here. Using a PetSmart Charities calculation, there are still at least 2,500 unsterilized pets in San Juan County. It may be higher. Just because people probably have more dogs than what the PetSmart people figure. But in closing, I wanted to share with you some of the comments after we spent a year sterilizing 419 pets with the PetSmart grant. So this was from Cheryl Sorensen, who's the owner office manager of the Moab Veterinary Clinic. They're the ones that bring their mobile clinic down for the clinics, 2-day clinics. She says, I kept hearing over and over again from pet owners at each clinic during the past year. It is so thoughtful that Humane Society of Moab Valley and PetSmart Charities would make these clinics available to help us. We're so grateful to them because now we can take care of our animals without taking away from our family's needs. Clayton Black, Monticello Chief of Police, we at Monticello City saw a significant decrease in the number of stray dogs in 2017 compared to 2016. In 2016, we impounded close to 25 dogs. In 2017, the number was below 10. I feel the program greatly contributed to this success. Thank you. And then again from Cheryl Sorensen, these clinics have been a teaching opportunity. Often children were sad that their pet couldn't have puppies or kittens anymore. The parent explained why it is not good for their pet to have babies. An invaluable lesson was learned when the children grasped this concept. So in closing, Humane Society of Moab Valley believes that access to low-cost spay and neuter for dogs and cats is crucial to reduce the number of unwanted animals and homeless pets. It keeps animals out of shelters, reduces dogs at large, reduces tax dollars spent on animal control, and allows pets to lead longer, healthier, and happier lives. So we need your help to continue our program in San Juan County. We very much appreciate your help so far. And I gave a couple of handouts here. There are extras, just some statistics, and then the business cards are really neat. On the back, you can put in your contact information, who to contact, and any pets that you have. So if there's an emergency and rescue personnel looks in your wallet, they'll see that you have an animal that needs to be taken care of. So are there any questions?
Commissioner? Bruce?
Are you associated with Bob Barker?
No. Is he the one in Blanding?
No.
Okay.
This guy on TV that advocates
Let's
for
make a
spay and
deal.
neuter.
Oh, no, we don't, no. We're kind of our own little thing, but just with our spay neuter in Moab, in the last 19 years, we get maybe 1 litter of puppies in there a year and maybe 1 or 2 litters of kittens. So the spay neuter really works in keeping the animal control under control.
Willie?
No question.
Your
Okay.
continued support.
Thank you.
Okay, Mark Boschel.
Rochelle.
Good morning, Commissioners.
All the way from Governor's office, yes.
So, well, thank you for letting me come in today. I just wanted to introduce myself and what our office does. And I've met Bruce in the past, but I haven't met either of you two commissioners here, so I just wanted to introduce myself. Again, my name's Mark Boschel, the Governor's Public Lands Policy Coordinating Office. I just wanted to let you know what we do, what we've been up to, what our role is at the state level. The Governor's Public Lands Policy Coordinating Office, otherwise known as PLPCO, you've probably heard of PLPCO. We coordinate with federal agencies and local governments regarding public lands issues. So whenever there's a planning effort for our forests or BLM lands or monuments, we get involved and we participate as state representatives and to help shape the public land policy for the state. We try to help resolve conflicts that arise between the federal government and the local governments and the state. And we also coordinate between the state so that we can speak with a unified voice, because there's different agencies within the state, so we try to do that as well. We try to stay involved in as many things as we can. Right now we've been participating in the Bears Ears planning efforts up in Moab. I know that concerns this county greatly. So I know that planning effort's coming to a close. I know there's Monument Advisory Committee meetings over the next couple days. I'll be attending those just to observe those meetings. I'm not going to be involved, but But we've been involved in that, and that process is moving forward. We also are involved in the Manti LaSalle forest planning process. They're going through a big revision on the forest to designate how they're going to be managed, moving forward. In September or October, the NEPA process is going to start, and our office is involved in that as well. You've probably heard of the Dingle Act, that new lands bill up in Emery County that designated large areas for wilderness and created a new national monument. Our office is actually sending a representative to work with the BLM to start that planning process. So I know it doesn't necessarily concern San Juan County, but if you have concerns or questions or want to be involved in that process, we do have a representative intricately involved in that. So we can coordinate with you, let you know how that's going, and represent your ideas if you feel like you need to do that, even though it's mainly in Emery County and Grand County that'll be affected. I also wanted to update you, there was an individual in our office that was involved in the grazing efforts throughout the state. His name was Reg Johnson. I know Bruce has met Reg. He's being transferred from our office to the Department of Agriculture and Food, and I don't know if you'd heard that or not. He's still going to be involved at the state level in grazing issues as they arise throughout the state. He's not going to be representing PLIPCO in those efforts, but he's still at the state level, and he can still be contacted, and you can work with him for any issues that arise. I know that a lot of the counties have found him an effective tool in coordinating with the federal government and resolving some of these grazing conflicts that do arise. And lastly, I just wanted to offer our help and support if you need anything taken to the governor, if something needs to be brought to his attention, feel free to contact us, and we can help run that up the food chain if that's easier for you. And we can also work with other state agencies, the Department of Agriculture and Food, the Division of Oil, Gas, and Mining, whoever it may be that you feel like you need to get in contact with as issues arise. So I just wanted to introduce myself, let you know that we're here to help you if you need anything, specifically regarding public lands. That's mainly what we deal with. So
Good to know you.
yeah, do you have any questions for me or anything that you
Bruce?
need?
You still located in Garfield?
I am. Yep. I work in Panguitch, but I cover this part of the state. I come over here quite often. I meet with Emery County and San Juan County as much as I can. It's a long drive, but I try to get here and to be available.
Mark is an attorney and has that background when he deals with public land issues, so I don't know if that's good or bad.
Probably both.
Natural resource attorney.
I just got a general law degree, but I've been involved in public lands for the last 3 years. But public lands are synonymous with natural resources, right?
Yeah.
So we do have that background, and so I can help provide a legal analysis if you need, just to help you navigate these public lands issues as they arise.
You work directly under Kathleen then?
Yep, directly under Kathleen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kathleen Clark is the director of the Public Lands Office in Salt Lake.
And Kathleen really wants us to be involved with the counties. We want to help. We want to be involved with you, so there's not a disconnect between local governments and the state.
Contact information.
I know Nick Sandberg, your public lands guy, has my information. I've got cards in the back. I'll catch up with you after and give you a card, if that works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Anything else, Commissioner?
No, Mark's been very helpful, and we're glad to have somebody from the state
Mm-hmm.
in the rural counties in southern Utah. So we're glad to have Mark and his resources that he brings to help San Juan.
Okay.
Well, thank you. And thank you. And I'll probably see you throughout the day. I'll hang around for a little while. So.
Okay. All
All
right.
right. Have a good
Thank you very much.
morning.
Tammy Gallegos.
You see, everything.
Hola, señorita.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? How are you guys this morning?
Bueno.
Very good. So in the work meeting, I have 2 contracts that I would like to see if we could also put them in the commission meeting so that I can get all of my state contracts done today. The first one is for the Medicaid Aging Waiver Program, and that contract takes care of about 70 to 80 people in San Juan County from Spanish Valley all the way to Navajo Mountain. We have about it's about 94% Native American on that program. And then the other contract is my veterans contract. It's a home and community-based program for the veterans. And we have one client on that, and he lives in the Montezuma Creek area. It's really hard to get clients on that. They have to be pretty much completely disabled, but this program allows us to provide them care as well. So I have those 2 that I would like to see if we could get them signed with the other contract this morning in commission.
Okay.
So,
Commissioners?
Yeah, Tammy does a great job and especially pays a lot of attention to those folks in the south, so I would, when we get to the point, I'd support what she's asking.
Willie?
No question.
Well, if need to, I think we can, if it's really a pressing issue, we can act on it.
I can wait until regular commission. I'll take my place and wait until then, and that way.
Well, thank you.
Everybody
You've done
has
a
their
wonderful
job.
job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Willie, Tammy knows where Navajo Mountain is.
I will be back later on today. Thank
Okay,
you.
You're next.
He goes out there all the
Again.
time.
Yeah, I'll be. Yeah, that was the VA, the aging and the VA.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
I did both of those.
Perfect.
So I will
perfect.
be back about 11 to get
Okay.
my contract signed. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tammy.
We do have-
John?
Good morning. I'm here just to brief you on something we'll be coming back at in the regular meeting to get Commissioner Maryboy's signature on a loan agreement with the Monticello Cemetery District. Back in October of last year, the previous commission approved loaning the cemetery district $180,000. This was part of a joint loan and grant project to build a new equipment maintenance facility down at the cemetery. And Bruce is probably more familiar with the discussions that occurred then, but what happened is the cemetery district went to the CIB and got approved for a combination loan and grant, 50-50, $180,000 of loan, $180,000 of grant, $360,000 total for the project. But then there were some issues with bonding and I think just some paperwork and requirements. It was decided that the loan portion would come from San Juan County, that they would get the grant from CIB, and the county agreed to loan the cemetery district the $180,000. The loan terms, let me see here, were for 30 years at 2.5% interest. The annual payment that the cemetery district will make is $8,600.
30%, you said?
20% or 2.5% for 30 years. So anyway, they didn't need the money back then, and originally we were slated to actually give them the proceeds from the loan in March, but they went ahead and spent some of their own money on the project, but now they're at a position where they need to get the loan proceeds to continue with the project. As I mentioned, it was approved in the October 23rd commission meeting last year, unanimously by the commission, to loan them this money. And this is not without precedence. The Blanding Cemetery District also received a loan from the county, and they've pretty much, I believe they have totally paid that loan off. So my purpose here this morning is just to bring this before you, ask if you have any questions or need some additional information. Then I'll be coming back in the regular county commission to hopefully get the commission's approval to have Commissioner Maryboy sign the loan document.
Commissioner?
Well, I think John's described it pretty well. There was some stumbling blocks that were encountered with CIB on being able to get that loan and get it through the bonding process and so forth. And, the county has some money that we have invested that we don't make 2.5% interest. So it seemed like a good idea for the county actually to lend them and to help them with their needs, because they get an additional $180,000 in grant from the CIB to match the loan, and the CIB was willing to allow San Juan County to do the lending instead of CIB do the lending. I don't know that they were going to be able to get through the loan process with CIB, but again, we've done a similar type thing with Blanding Cemetery, and we're not setting a new precedent or anything, and I think it was a good idea.
Woody?
The understanding I have is that the grant and loan issue, the county stepped in to lend instead of CIB.
Right.
CIB still not finalized or come out with approval.
Right. Well, they've approved it, but they just haven't gone through the document signing process, I believe, right, John?
The CIB approved the grant portion, and the CIB will be granting, just in the form of a grant, $180,000. And the county agreed to do the loan portion, 50-50, of $180,000. So yet the CIB portion has been approved by the CIB, the grant.
I believe the CIB requirement is that they spend the loan portion before they get the grant portion. So that's why we need to follow through and get the cemetery district the loan money so they can proceed with their project. And then when they've spent all the loan money, then the CIB kicks in with the grant.
Is there any problem from the legal point in terms of that we might have to?
No, we've done this before with the city of, with the cemetery district in Blanding. So we've been down this road before, and there should be no legal questions that come up.
I also, just so you know, I believe that I reviewed this back in October before John brought it before the commission the first time, and so unless something drastically has changed, I did review it back then as well, and I didn't see any problems with it from a legal perspective, because it isn't there is some precedence already set for doing this, and it was a pretty straightforward document, so.
Correct.
My concern is that this loan didn't come through and San Juan County stepped in to provide the money. That's the first time it happened. This is the second time. Now, is there any question as to a policy that might be prohibitive prior to the first incident? Or is it just...
Let me recognize David and see what...
Commissioner, having experienced the process for getting a loan through the CID process. It can be fairly complicated, involving bond counsel and additional expenses that you don't have to incur if the county does the loan portion. And so I can imagine that the cemetery district's goal, when they looked at the loan that CIB approved and they evaluated the time and money it would take to actually get the loan finalized, that they thought maybe it would be a cheaper and better option, a quicker option to go through the county for that loan instead. So,
Okay.
interestingly, the
What-
county is less hoops.
Yeah.
With that information, we're good, right, Kendall?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's probably the strategic political side of making that decision, but from a legal perspective, I didn't see any issues with doing this.
Okay.
Another thing to mention, we've talked about truth in taxation and raising our tax rates. The cemetery district is already involved in that process to raise their tax rates so that they'll raise the money they need to repay this loan each year. So from a risk and financial perspective, I don't think there's any real issues there. They've already begun the process and are where.
They've accepted it.
Okay.
So they are going through with that.
Okay. So, that's how they're going to have the money to repay the loan, is by raising their tax rates, which has already gone through the process.
And this is going to be coming up for action today?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I guess in the meanwhile, commissioners can kind of analyze. Bruce is familiar with the process that already took place. It seems like we've already done it before, and he seemed to be pretty optimistic that he's going to go through, and with the support of Kendall and the input from our manager. So let's see where it goes. As far as I'm concerned, if it's something that we dealt with before, then we should be able to nudge it through. But to satisfy the some of the questions that the Commissioner Gray has, maybe we'll look at it as when it comes before us.
Yeah. You might consider, I don't know that we have a formal policy dealing with the county loaning money to other governmental units, but it has happened. We've loaned money to the healthcare district. We've loaned money to the cemetery district in Blanding, and now we're loaning money here. We have something with the school district that's also kind of like a loan, but the repayment terms are a little bit complicated. And so in the past, I think these things have just come up on an ad hoc basis. Mm-hmm. The other governmental agency will come to the county and say, we've got this need for some money. Would you be willing to loan it to us? And then the commissioners would consider it on a case-by-case basis and make a decision. I don't know if you want to formalize some sort of policy governing these types of transactions, but that would be something you could do if you wanted to do that. I know Commissioner Gray has concerns about policy and that. Right. I don't think we have an existing formal policy or written policy governing this type of arrangement.
Mm-hmm. The reason why I question that is that in case of default, what do we do? Forgive? Possibly.
Yeah.
And the other things, we don't have a policy. That's what I'm thinking about in terms of having to roll the wagon along the road as smooth as possible. That's what I'm looking at.
In this case, I would say that developing a policy and putting that in place would be something that you'd want to do going forward. But in the case of this loan, it was approved by the commission last year. The cemetery district, based on that approval and the approval of the CIB, has already begun the project. They've already spent $30,000 of their own money to cover the initial costs of design work and preparation. So I think it would work a pretty substantial hardship on them if there was any delay in getting, because they've spent $30,000 of their own money. The next money to be spent is the money we're loaning them, and then the final money to be spent is going to be the grant money from CIB. So in actually moving this project forward, our loaning them the money is kind of critical at this point. So just another thing to keep in mind.
I understand.
Okay, well, thank you.
Monty Perkins.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I'll just kind of update a few things. I talked to you a month or so ago about that we were going to be receiving some grant money from the state for weed control. And I got the contracts yesterday. I'm in the process of getting those signed today and getting them sent back in. So that's going to help us out substantially to where the money that's budgeted for the weed department some of that won't have to be used this year. So, but anyway, along with that, we're having a real struggle hiring any help this summer. We usually hire 3 seasonal workers to go along with my help, and we've only got 1 seasonal worker hired right now. So what we'd like to do, I've talked with David and I've talked with Walter, and I would like to turn that seasonal worker into a full-time position for the weed department. It's pretty critical. As you know, I'm part-time with the weed department and part-time with the maintenance department. So our weed department really doesn't have a full-time person. And I would like to open this in-house to anyone that works for the county right now to apply and turn that seasonal position into a full-time position.
Sounds like a good idea.
Okay.
In the past, we've had full-time weed employees, we've had part-time weed employees. It's always a kind of a catch-22, because what does the full-time weed guy do in the winter when there's no weeds to spray?
Yeah.
But I think Monty's got, I'm sure he's got some job description, in the job description, what the guy will be doing. Maybe you want to share a little bit with them what that full-time weed man would be doing.
Well,
when there's no weeds to spray.
Yeah, in the winter time, there is really a lot to do, because we're writing grants, we're finishing up the grant projects that we've done during the summer with paperwork. I mean, every day that you have a grant, you've got to write down exactly what you've done each day to turn in at the end of the year. And this, as busy as we are in the summer, we can't really do that. So we have to make notes, and then in the months that we're not doing weed control, we're finishing up our paperwork and all of that, plus the fact that our maintenance department, I want to use this extra time for this full-time employee, put him in the maintenance department when he hasn't got anything to do in the weed department. And with all the new buildings that we've had come on, we're swamped there too. So we've got a big project going down at the health department with trying to get the lawns in the backside and all of that stuff done. So it's just.
So the health department's not converting that to cannabis?
They're only the dealer.
Okay.
But yeah, we're doing a lot of extra work down there too. So.
I guess
You might take over as a producer over there.
Farmers are gonna take that over.
I guess get together with David and maybe Kendall and kind of chew up on it and see what you come up with.
Okay.
So that way we can maybe look at some of those options that you might come up with. It sounds like a good idea to have a permanent position in there, so that way you're ready for tackling the weeds in the summertime.
Well, we're the biggest county in the state, and every county has at least 3 full-time employees in their weed department, and they, it's when I talk to the state managers up there, they're telling me that that we can't really run a sufficient weed department or efficient weed department with just seasonal employees, and the longer I'm doing this, the more I realize that. So,
So will you eliminate the seasonal employees that you're replacing, so you'll only have one seasonal employee?
One seasonal employee is what we will still try and get with this full-time employee.
You've had some seasonal employees that have returned year after year. Is that not the case this year?
Well, one of them got a job up in Salt Lake area, and the other one just doesn't, he's had enough weed work. So it's been really difficult. We've had but one application, so it's been pretty difficult. We're going out recruiting every day, trying to find some more help, and we've even relaxed our rules for being able to get a person. Before you had to be 18, and we're dropping that down to 16 now, and so hopefully we can find one more guy to help us. But
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Monty. Ben?
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I noticed the Forest Service agreements did not come in time to bring them in and present those and that information to you, so they're still working on their review. But I do have some documentation, and we went through and we kind of updated from what was delivered in the commission packets. So just so that you're looking at the same information that I'm looking at, I'll give you a copy of that.
This is the BIA.
This is the BIA, and this is just to make it easier to read and understand what's going on. We have the last several years shown as far as what BIA has contributed to the road maintenance of their routes on the Navajo Nation. We negotiated in 2017, late 2016, to increase the amounts that BIA brought in to the county for our assistance on maintaining their roads. Since that time, with the takeover of the tribal routes by Navajo DOT and us seceding from those operations, removing those roads from our B road inventory. We're kind of we have a very small, which is the yellow, a small group of numbers that indicate where we're kind of currently at with the agreement, with what we're providing. Notably in late 2018-19, we had some very low numbers that we billed BIA for. That's when our operator had some personal health issues. We weren't able to get out there and provide the services that we normally do. We attended to just the emergency needs and tried to address those. What our goal is, we're trying to, and what I'm here today is to let you know, we're trying to set up a meeting with BIA to review the cooperative agreement. Because of the changes, we're no longer receiving B road revenues for any of these routes. Therefore, the work that we provide for BIA has to be 100% covered by the BIA, which means we may not be able to provide this full services under the current cooperative agreement for the amount of money that they currently allocate to those roads. We do have some issues where we would like to, we have some options as we talk to them and approach them. We'd like to request some flexibility of funds. Right now, we receive for Western Agency $20,000 per quarter, and for the Shiprock Agency $22,500 per quarter. Sometimes there's not necessarily as much work needed. This part of the year, you might address a few roads, you might just be able to not address some other roads, and then coming out of winter, you might have to spend a lot of time getting ruts and everything out of the roads. So right now they don't like us to bill more than what our quarterly allocation is. We have been doing it. They've been allowing it on a small scale. We would like to get that in the cooperative agreement to where if we expend more in this first quarter, we can, spend less in the second and make ourselves whole by the end of the year. But right now they're just kind of working with us. They're being generous and letting us do that. So we want that in the agreement, as well as right now we can't mix money. We have Western Agency, which is everything BIA from Chinle Wash West in San Juan County, and we have Shiprock Agency, which is Chinle Wash East in San Juan County. And if an area gets hit harder than others with weather or environmental issues, we might spend more money in that area, but they won't allow us to transfer reserve funds. If we haven't used them in Shiprock, they won't let us transfer those unused funds to the Western Agency to cover for the excess needed maintenance. So those are a couple of options that we would like to present and try to get included in the cooperative agreement. It's just some flexibility in how we bill against the available funds. Number two of our options is we're looking at, as time goes on, we're monitoring, we're trying to cut off our operator so we don't get into excess, but we may be into a point of a reduced frequency for certain routes receiving maintenance and or reduced number of miles. With the agreement that we came to when they did increase the funding in 2017, they did reduce the miles and they increased the money because they could see what we were up against and where we were at. And we're kind of at the same point with the changes that have taken place. So we're hoping that they'll look at that and work with us on that. Option three of the whole scenario is Navajo DOT has not really expressed interest, but BIA has indicated that they may, if we're unable to continue to provide per the cooperative agreement, they may seek that assistance from Navajo DOT, and then San Juan County would no longer have any cooperative agreement with BIA. So we're trying for a meeting with them this month, mid-June, sometime. It's not necessary that commission come, but once we set that up, I'll let you know the dates, and we typically meet at their Shiprock office, and we would welcome to have you there. Again, it's not necessary. If you can't make it, we can still work with them. We've had good working relations.
So far, Larry Joe's been brushing us off. I don't know what his issues are.
Mm-hmm.
So we do need to meet with the folks there.
Yeah. Well, this is BIA. Larry
Yeah.
Ujo is Navajo DOT,
Yeah.
but BIA oftentimes will also call NDOT and whoever they send to attend the meetings.
Just
but
out of courtesy, just to expand the invitation to where we need to talk some business, and that's the reason why I've been contacting Larry to do that. But maybe just go directly to the BIA instead of.
Yeah.
Had a lot of hope with the president, and the same thing with the NDOT.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the trains of communication have kind of gone cold recently. We're not getting a lot of correspondence back. I have talked some with Garrett Silversmith with Navajo DOT, and he just says he is flat swamped and buried in paperwork at the current time. So he's struggling through all of that. But yeah, as far as BIA goes, we need to relook at that cooperative agreement before we get ourselves into another fiscal year of it. Their fiscal or their year of their starts October 1st is the beginning of their first quarter. So we start talking about now so that we can have something resolved, and it's got to go all the way to DC. If we make changes to the cooperative agreement, it has to be approved by the main offices back there, and so it's a long process when we do these changes. But I wanted to let you know kind of what we're up against, and that currently the funding that we receive from BIA may not continue. If you look at historical averages of what we've spent, the amount they're giving us is no longer going to cover that, and with the changes of the B road, we have to have them cover 100%.
Why did we have to change the B road if we have permission from BIA to maintain those roads? Why can't we continue to claim them as B roads and get B road funding for them?
There's no right of way, and that's the whole thing with the Navajo Nation. That the Navajo Nation's need for us to call them a B road, we have to own right of way. We don't own any right of way.
Who says that?
That was from BIA, Sheldon Kipp.
We've never had a right of way.
No.
We've got B road money on all of the roads in the Navajo Nation for 50 years.
Right.
Why?
Well, they came to the point that the Navajo Nation started talking trespass, all of that.
Let's challenge them.
Yeah.
Let's claim them as B roads and request the money from the state.
For the BIA
The-
roads.
Yeah, for the BIA routes.
Yeah.
We've got an agreement with the BIA, a signed agreement with the BIA that we are going to do work on those roads. I don't care whether we have a right of way from the Navajo Nation. We have an agreement with the BIA. Let's turn those roads in as B roads and get additional funding from the state to maintain the BIA roads under a B road designation.
The other side of the B road is we have to be the sole authority for jurisdiction of those roads, and that's the state of Utah's requirement. So that's another, you're dealing with Navajo Nation laws, and we're dealing with the state of Utah laws, and our cooperative agreement is segments. Where our agreement is to maintain quarterly dirt roads. We don't have any oil, we don't have any gravel routes that we maintain. per
Dirt
that
roads are
agreement.
considered gravel roads
No, dirt, natural surface.
by the state of Utah.
Well, they're calling it natural surface. The BIA, it's a natural surface road, which gravel is no longer natural surface by theirs. And through the maintenance, we cannot do anything more than 2 inches of alteration to the surface of the road.
I'm just saying, let's do what we've always done.
Yeah.
Let's do what we've always done. Let's claim those roads as B roads and bill the state for them. If somebody wants to come after us, we got Kendall.
Sounds like some clear direction.
I don't know, whatever you guys want to do, that's my
I think,
opinion.
you know, I'm at the point to where I think that's what we need to do, because we've been dealing with the nation, and you said with DC, maybe that's another route that we can do. Maybe David, you and Kendall can get together and hash something out, and let's grease the skid and
Okay,
see what we can do.
we'll see what we can do.
Kendall?
The other concern is at the Mexican water, there's an expression by certain people, I believe the chapter officer indicated the potholes on Aneth Road, and some of the incident has resulted people landing in hospital. And those issues are real outstanding. I think we need to do something. I don't believe in DOT knows about it. So I'd like to maybe have that expressed to DOT, in DOT.
Okay.
So that way they'll have some conscious as to what's going on over in this area.
It is. It's getting really bad.
It is, and I know that they have.
You've been playing nice enough, and I think it's about time you circle the wagon now.
They, I know they've been in the area recently. I've heard that some signs, route marker signs, have been going up. I've not seen any yet. I don't know the actual location of where they're at, but
As I understand, they put the signs up. Somebody comes along and trash it, and it's just that type of situation that's going on over there in Annis. Maybe you could take your board over there, Martin. I mean,
the one question that I have, and whatever the commission decides is fine, but the direction that you're giving right now is for David, Ben, and myself to get together and figure this out and go forward. I'm wondering if an intermediate step between now and the next commission meeting would be helpful in us figuring out what our options are and what the implications are, the consequences are of those options, and then bringing it to you. And then if you decide that, no, this is what we want to do, then at least then the commission is fully informed of what possible consequences there are to those
Sounds
actions.
great.
yeah.
So I would like it, I think it would be wise to take a more intermediate action in the next 2 weeks. We can get together, figure out what the options are and what the possible consequences are, and then you can make a decision at your next commission.
I think while you're looking at those avenues, look at the public safety as well.
Yes.
See what we can do. I know that Turgeson's been trying to meet with some folks out there as well. Maybe that's something that we need to start pushing as well. So, good.
okay.
Well,
In
Kendall,
that,
but I want to be clear, I'm only talking about BIA roads that we have a contract with the
Yes.
BIA to maintain. I'm not talking about any other roads, because we don't have a contract to do anything to any other roads.
And I understand that. I just want to make sure that we all are fully advised before we jump into the fire, if that's what we're doing.
I think we've been in that fire for
BIA
50 years.
on our
I think
Nothing's
cooperation.
happened,
I think so as well, but I
we're-
think 2 weeks is a short
I'd have to
period
look at it.
Okay.
I think we're
Maybe it's
in
time
the
that you start
150
doing
mile
your
range,
political dance.
something like that.
No such thing.
All right.
Rely on you.
Okay,
That sounds great, Ben. Thank you.
thank you.
Jerry McNeely.
He didn't make it today, he's crashed in his bed.
Oh, he crashes a bit, man.
Oh, I made
it all right, guys. So when the meeting starts at 9, what time do you have to get up?
6.
Oh, you're just like a farmer.
No,
Yeah.
I actually get up at
Just
exactly
like a farmer.
at exactly 7 o'clock. I get up, and that hurts.
That late, huh?
It hurts, Gray Eyes. It hurts really bad.
You're like a government worker then.
Well, I try to be, you
7
know.
p.m.
I try to be. It's a little tough down there, so Dave, you've been down there. Heck, you can't be getting up at 7 o'clock.
If you wait till 7 to get up, it's already hot.
It's not here. I see my coat.
The guy says 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yes, it is. Yeah, but I'm not. I'm so to speak not a morning person. So I
don't
try to
blame
keep
you.
all. I try to keep all my meetings start at 10:30 or something like that, Kenneth. So
We'll try to make that arrangement.
just as long as I still have meetings, you can make them whenever. Okay, guys. This is going to be pretty short. We'll just start with my meetings. I went to the workshop on board meeting training for special service districts, which is required by all members of any special service district board. It's a very boring meeting that lasts like 3. I fortunately got off because I've been doing it so long for 3 hours, but it's actually can be a 6-hour trial for people who are just starting and stuff. And this is just kind of just to look at what we have to do, and just want to just look through it. I brought it so I could prove that I'd been there. That's my proof. So, if Gray Eyes wanted to argue about it, I could show him that I actually was there. Plus, they give you a test at the end at 80%, but I failed, so.
I just question.
I know, I'm just teasing. You're gonna have to get used to me, okay? But anyway, you have to do that every year, and it doesn't quite make sense to those of us who have been doing this forever and ever. I'm sure Bruce knows what I'm talking about.
You know what, Bruce?
Yep.
Looks like Jerry's been to Utah Association of Special Districts.
Say proof.
So I help you.
Okay, I like that. I like that. I think we ought to do more of that, you know. Let's see, I had a housing authority meeting, which is our self-help homes. And our project in Blanding will be done approximately sometime in August. And we will be having an open house, and we'd like the commissioners to be able to come to that. But just before the open house, I'm gonna have my crew come down, and they will give you a little heads up on how they did and what they did and when the open house will be. And so then you'll know all about it. And this self-help home has turned out to be a very, very positive thing. We've got a lot of it in Moab. It's a little harder to do here in Blanding. We've had 2 projects. This will be the second project in Blanding since I've been involved in the board. And it's a project where you go in and you build your own homes. You have to do 33%, at least 33% of the work, and then we have certain contractors that do stuff that you couldn't do. And so we foot that bill and everything, and then when it gets all done, then it goes over to the bank. And it's a really, really good way for low-income families to get into some really nice homes. And that's what it's all about. We get the grant money, change it into state money, and do this. So, and this is the one in Blanding. And when we get this one done, what we do is we go out and seek citizens and then we get them to qualify, and then we start another project. Now, in Moab, the big problem is we can't afford the property of the ground the property because it's so high with the grant money we get. Now in Blanding, it works out really easy. But and then in Monticello, we can't get any projects going because the houses are already cheap in Monticello, so they just been buy housing. So we're our $300 and some thousand homes in Moab, which Dave's quite well aware of that. Here in Monticello would be $175,000 to $200,000 home, and then Blanding probably even better than that. So I'll have this coming week. I have a water meeting with Grand Water and Sewer Thursday at 7 o'clock. I'll be going to that. The water and sewer project that we're doing in the Spanish Valley, northern San Juan County area is going quite well. In fact, it's going good. I'm getting a lot of phone calls on road conditions, but there's nothing we can do about that due to the fact that we are in construction and talking to the people and soothing their feathers and telling them, as soon as it's all done, then we have another project where we'll come in and take care of all those roads and put them back to where they was when we start. But where we had to do the sewer project and then come in and do the water project, the different time has been kind of, so they get used to one and they get used to the road. But the road, I went and drove the roads Thursday and Friday, and they are in pretty bad shape, but there's not a lot we can do about it till we get all the construction done. I mean, because they're just going back and forth and doing stuff. And it's like I said a long time ago, we found out that putting infrastructure in already existing homes is a hell of a lot harder than building a development with infrastructure, put in the infrastructure and then build the houses. When you have to come in, because they got lines everywhere, and so we have to find them, cut them, they break them. It's been a kind of a real eye opener for me because I never thought about that part of it, of already existing homes being that much trouble to get. But we're getting it done. It's working. Ben's doing a hell of a job on the project, being project engineer of that. So I give him nothing but big kudos for him doing what he does, because he does a good job. And then when I can't soothe the feathers, I call on Ben, and he comes down and we get it done. So there's just been little problems here and there, little hiccups, but we've been able to get over it. So it's worked pretty good. And that's all the meetings I got. Dave?
Quick question from me. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm wondering what the time frame is for completion.
Is Ben still here?
Yes.
Ben?
Hopefully end of August.
I was going to say August, but I didn't want to step on Ben's toes, so because I might have said August and he'd say December or something. So,
between August.
So since he's here, I want to get it from the horse's mouth.
We've not started connecting individual homes yet, so that will follow the mainline installations.
Yeah, and that's one problem we're trying to find a contractor who would hook from the homes to where they've stemmed off, and Ben's having a little problem trying to find a contractor that will do that. So if anybody hears this or whatever is interested, then call Ben Musselman, and because we are having a little trouble with that, which we thought we wouldn't, but we are. So okay, Sitla. Everything's kind of with the other outfits I go to because of they're all doing your board meeting that's coming up, so they're all been working on it. So meeting with them's been very difficult, which I have got to meet with them a little bit. Sitla, they're hanging in there, but they're just working on land exchanges and the road easements that we got in Spanish Valley going on with our two main roads coming off at Tangerine Lane. And etc. So they're still kind of what I talked about last time, but I'll just shorten this up. BLM, the same thing, there's nothing new. So I just kind of jotted down some stuff. The drill site in Big Indian, Lisbon Valley, the drill site at Wilson Arch still on hold due to the road site evaluation, trying to figure out a way to come where they're not going through the citizens that all live there, which that's the way they were going to go. We're trying to change that. The new exploration, all the exploration in LaSalle mine copper mines is there's a little problem. We have some problems with the culture site. That's kind of stumped that just a little bit. They'll work that out according to the BLM. The LaSalle Mine Complex is still on hold because of the price of vanadium went poof. In fact, it went from like 30 to 10. And then the Forest Service the same way. They got real problems with snow, mud, etc. But they can't do anything about it until it gets dried out and then they'll be calling me. Then I'll be calling Ben, because the hot area for us is the 2 mile area at Canopy Gap. There's a lot of homes up in there, and people are calling me to get the roads graded. I call Ben. We can't. Right now, last night I talked to Ben, we're looking for a grader operator to do that. The Forest Service had a set fire burn they were going to do on the Lackey Basin, which is the very south end of the LaSalle Mountains, but that's been put on hold due to the fact of they're waiting to see how much growth from our heavy snows and stuff, to see if that will hinder it. And if it looks like they're not going to do it because of that, because it's pretty high. Other than that, the Forest Service, I can't think of anything else, unless you guys got some questions for me to do.
Sounds good, Jerry. Commissioners?
Okay, I thank you.
I'm good.
Willie?
Good question.
Okay, well, thank you, Jerry.
Oh, by the way, Ray Ice, the lake is clear full, so you could go out there and just boat your little heart out if you want to, and go fish all you want to. So
We might just pick
when you get your fishing pole,
I need to borrow your Corvette, so.
oh no, Corvette doesn't go fishing. I knew you was gonna bring that up. But the Corvette, I just had it detailed out. You're gonna be so proud, Kenneth. You're just gonna freak out. It looks really.
Motor though. What kind of a motor you got on there?
Well, I'm not mechanical. I just drive them. All I know is a 4-year newer motor than normal, has 400 horses, and brand spanking new. And so far, it's a little scary for this old man to drive.
It's a 396 big block.
No, it's
396.
No, it's different than that. It's bigger than that. I'll get my mechanic to write it all down, so I'll know.
Ooh.
So when I give you
I got
this,
an extra nitrous plate. We ought to try that.
no, I don't need that. So, right now, my biggest problem is the traffic in Moab is so bad that my leg gets tired shifting because I can't drive it, because all I do is put in the clutch and let out the clutch, put in the clutch. So.
You know what's bad in Moab? The hatching of the moths.
Oh yeah, we got to really.
They grab you and pick you up and move you.
Oh, we've had some real tourist freakouts with the moth
gosh.
stuff. They don't understand the moths.
Does that happen every year down there?
No, this is as far as I've been there forever, and you know how old I am. This is the first time I've seen moths like this ever, ever. And they're horrible.
They'll attack you.
They'll pack you off. I mean, if you're sitting there and that little group comes through, you better get out of the road or you're going to be going right along with them.
Right through your windshield too.
That's it, guys. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you,
If you need
Jerry.
me, call me. Dave knows how to get a hold of me.
Okay, Nick.
I got the seat warm, Nick. How's that?
Good, thank you. Yeah, the moss is nuts.
Bad.
Good morning.
Good morning. Can't eat outside on the deck, can you?
I saw that.
You can have a door open.
We have a letter for discussion and for possible signature at the regular commission meeting for you. Sitla has received an application from the Nature Conservancy for a 750-foot easement for a pipeline, irrigation pipeline. And what this would do would allow better water availability, distribution on some irrigated fields in the lower part of the dugout ranch area. That map I just handed to you, if you look kind of on the upper top middle section, there's an orange line, and that's the location of the proposed pipeline and easement. It's all across Sitla lands, and it would be issued to the Nature Conservancy.
There's the one we talked about. Check out. Go ahead.
So Sitla sent us a letter and asked if we had any, and asked us to comment on it, and basically it's consistent with our resource management plan, master plan. So basically that's what that letter says, that this proposal is consistent with our land use planning.
Okay.
So right in the middle of the page, that's where the big reservoir is that right, Nick?
Yes.
Just below that
Yes,
211?
yeah, you can see that reservoir there.
So this is towards Canyon Lands?
Right, down to
As
the
you're driving
northwest.
along the highway?
And if you might remember, there's a feature, a topographic feature called the island off to the south, an isolated mesa. And this pipeline would be just below, downslope, so to speak, from that rusty corrugated hay barn that was just constructed there a few years back. That's just south of the highway, if you're familiar with that area.
This is a new line, not a replacement of an old line that was existing there?
I don't know that for sure. I assume maybe it's a new line, maybe it was just open ditch previous, because I know there's some irrigation ditches in that area.
I don't think I have any problem with it. I think that it's, probably a good project.
What will it take to redo the whole new lines?
I don't know, because I don't know the situation of their irrigation system. Whether they have upgraded other parts of it or what's going on.
Okay. Willie?
Yeah, it's, what's the distance?
I didn't understand. What's
Distance of the line?
distance?
Yeah.
750 feet.
The way it looks, possibility, another extension possibly needed too.
Well, that could be, that's up to the Nature Conservancy if they have a need for something additional there. We don't get into that detail with their operation.
Mm-hmm. Well, they might just have that kind of enough money for that, 750 feet. So. That's about it.
Okay, well, folks do need to live. And 750 feet is what we're looking at. So commissioners, I believe that we're still in a work session, but you're on a regular meeting here too, right?
Yes, it got me double time there.
Yeah. Okay. I don't have any problem with this, commissioners, if you have any other comment to this.
No, I think it's a good project. The irrigator down there finances the project himself. He does all the work. He pays for the cost of the extension. Because it's on Sitla land, the county gets an opportunity to comment on it, and I think what Nick's written are appropriate comments for this project.
Well, this is your meeting. If you wish for him to come back at the commission meeting for approval, or you can make a motion to approve this to where I can sign it. Can run with it.
I don't have a problem with you signing it. We can ratify it in the
Regular
commission
meeting?
meeting.
Okay, well, do I have a motion and do I have a second to have me sign this document?
We probably ought to not make a motion in the work meeting, right,
Yeah.
David?
Correct.
I mean, we can give you the go-ahead to sign it, and then we'll ratify it in our commission meeting with a motion in a second,
Either way.
if Willie's all right to doing that.
Good plan.
Okay.
So, yay, nay?
Yeah.
Hey, she,
All right, thank you.
Sir.
The other thing I'll bring up, it's already been brought up before, but, you know, there is this Bears Ears Monument Advisory Committee meeting. It starts tomorrow, and that starts at 1 p.m. down in the Hideout Center and runs till 5. And then the next day, it'll start again at 8 and go till noon. And it is open to the public for anyone who wants to attend. And I'll probably attend at least parts of that meeting.
Bruce is attending. Right.
Okay. And then I talked with Mike Deem last week. And the Forest Service, as far as their planning effort is going, they're putting together what they call a scoping package. So they're still working out, I think, some of the details that will be in that package. But I told him that I think it'd be useful if you agree that he comes in at some point here before we get into the open public comment period in the fall on this plan, that he comes in and gives us, or the commissioners, a short briefing once he gets a little more detail into this scoping package. So if that's okay with you commissioners, I'll try to set that up at some later date when they're more ready to come and give you a briefing. Does that sound reasonable to you?
That sounds pretty reasonable. Commissioner?
Yeah.
Willie?
Okay.
Sure.
All right, I'll work on that. And that's all I've got for you this morning.
Okay. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
Good. John David Nelson,
Okay.
2019 tax sales giveaway.
Yes, sort of giveaway. So every year we hold a tax sale the fourth Thursday of May, and what that is properties that are 5 years delinquent on property taxes. That we usually start the process early in the year, around February, sending out notices and letters to those individuals who are on that list of being 5 years delinquent. Attempting to get a hold of them to have them come in and pay the property taxes so that we don't sell their property. This year, everyone came in except for two individuals and paid their property taxes. So we had two properties on the tax sale. We had roughly 10 people that came and showed up to bid on those properties, and I think in the packet we have the roll of who was there and the amounts of the bids. So that process happened, and so the request for the commission meeting is just to have you approve those results.
Okay.
And I guess one other thing that I would like to recommend, we did have one state assessed property that we would suggest that the commission consider writing off the taxes. Multiple attempts were made to contact the company, Diversified Energy LLC, but we could never get a hold of them. The property that they were using, I believe, for oil and gas, there's nothing left there for the county to recoup or take over to recover the loss of the property taxes, and a look at the value of the property over the last few years. The value has gone down, kind of indicating that at some point they may have had some personal property on that piece of land, but then they have removed it, and to the point now where there's nothing there, and so there's nothing to recoup, nothing to collect, and so it would just be the suggestion that the commission approve the writing off of those taxes that are delinquent or never paid.
How many delinquents are we talking about?
That did not get paid.
Yeah.
There were two. Well, I guess if this state assessed property, that would be three. But there were two parcels of land that were not redeemed. The taxes were not paid by the time of the tax sale.
Commissioners?
I see the one is a Canyon Terrace subdivision. Where is that located?
That if you're coming up, from Blanding, it's at just after Devil's Canyon.
Okay. And the other one?
And the other one is on the main road. Well, it's not on the main road. It's off the main road, going towards Colorado.
Okay.
It's just after the Eastland turnoff.
Okay. And that you're indicating that minimum, but the high bid on Canyon Terrace was 1,000,
right?
And the high bid on the one going east was 13.
So on the Canyon Terrace, that was 13,000.
Well, that was the 13,000.
Yeah, and then the other one going east was 1,000.
Okay. Do you know how big the properties were? It doesn't say here. Oh yeah, it does 9 acres.
So the one on south of here is almost 9. It was about 9.5 acres, and the one going east
wasn't quite an acre.
Not quite an acre.
Okay. Okay. Okay, you coming back in the next?
Yeah, I'm on the agenda for the commission meeting to
for
that approval. Unless you have any other questions right now.
Have any questions, Willie?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, it's coming back.
It is.
On a regular meeting anyway, so.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you, John.
David Everett?
So this is the rules of procedure item, and we reviewed them last meeting, and you all provided feedback and suggestions for changes, which were all incorporated into the document. Also received a couple of comments from members of the public in a meeting I had with them in my office, and incorporated those in as well, particularly around the notion of what happens during the citizens to be heard portion of the meeting. And those have all been, so the revisions have all been made, and we put onto the San Juan County website both the marked up version and a new clean version for people to comment on, and didn't receive any comments that I'm aware of about that, at least as of Friday afternoon. And it's ready for you to either provide further feedback and comments, or and/or ready for your adoption in the formal meeting if you would like. And I'm happy to go through some of the individual changes since last meeting if you'd like, or
I think that'd be helpful, especially any changes you made since our last meeting.
Okay. So if it's small stuff like just a word change that's not substantive, I won't do it, but if that's all right. But in terms of the sort of more relevant changes, let's see. If we look at page 2 under B, commission members, number 5, it discusses commission communications, and that wording was changed to I think reflect a little more your intent and our understanding of the notion that a commissioner, you have the right and ability to express your opinions despite or no matter what the official opinion of or the official view of the commission is as adopted. But as elected officials, you certainly can still do that. So that attempts to make that clear. The key there is that you need to just be careful to clearly distinguish between when it's an opinion of you versus an opinion that's been formally, or a view that's been formally, a position that's been formally adopted by the commission and thus the county. Moving along, let's see, number C2, which is on page 4. Made some edits to the commissioner's role item with regard to commissioners serving on county boards or special service districts or other committees to make it clear that in a lot of cases a board member, commissioner may have a fiduciary responsibility to a particular board, and that needs to come first when you are in that board meeting. But it also notes that if there is the potential for there to be a conflict, it's up to the commissioner to really declare that conflict and then make the determination whether that conflict rises to a level that warrants recusal or not. And that's really on you all as commissioners to identify that and respond accordingly. Let's see, on number 5 of that same section, added a sentence that said that the county commission does not direct or attempt to direct decisions of special service district boards, just to make sure that it's clear that those are truly independent boards. Even though they're appointed, membership is appointed by the commission, those boards need to act independently based on their responsibilities and duties. Let's see, in section D, made it clear that any commissioner provides advice and guidance to the county administrator at any time. Just didn't want the impression that there was any sort of restriction on communication there. Number 12 of that section tried to make it clear as to what happens if the chair wishes to make a motion. The way that you all have done, I think, historically, and that is explicitly articulated in here, if the chair wishes to make a motion, the chair temporarily transfers the responsibility of the chair duties to another commissioner, makes that motion, and then once that matter is finished, receives back the chairship and then continues forward. So the notion, the concept is really the chair, simply because the chair is the chair, should not be restricted from being able to make motions given the size of the commission in particular. Let's see, moving right along. Let's see, oh, and then section M, which is voting. As requested, added a section there about basically the concept of calling for the question, and once a commissioner calls for the question, discussion about that item then ends, and it's time for the commission to vote. This is really just making it clear that once discussion is over, a vote happens, you move on, there's no more discussion after an item is voted on, simply because a lot of that can become confusing for people in the public. Well, was it really decided if you start discussing it afterwards or not? And so it just provides a real bright line, time to move on once an item is voted on to the next item. Let's see. Section N2, again, clarifies the chair's ability to make motions in that particular process, but also to second motions while acting as the chair. Let's see. And I think that might be about it. Made sure that you were allowed to leave the chair. Circumstances dictated it for your own reasons, made that clear. And that under Q2, for citizens to be heard, we really need people to be sure to use a microphone. But if they don't have the ability to come up to the table, at some point we'll need to figure out how to get a microphone or amplification to them so that they are also able to participate in the citizens to be heard process. And I believe that is all. Any questions or comments or feedback?
Questions, comments, commissioners?
None?
Yeah, I appreciate you putting in the ability to leave if there's an emergency of some kind.
Yeah.
better for everybody.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, if you don't have any additional feedback, we'll, it's on the agenda for the formal meeting for a vote.
Okay.
Now, is there a reason we got 2 copies, or was that just an oversight?
I think the other one's the overstrickens.
Yeah, one's the marked up version. It's a little light, but if you'll see it later on. And then I have a second item, which is the job description for the county administrator. I started with the version that was currently on file, made some recommended changes, and you have both versions of that as well. So the markup version shows all the edits, and the clean version shows a clean version. I've been consulting a little bit with some HR professionals in other parts of the state about it to make sure that we were engaging in best practices in terms of the description and how it was set up to really clearly articulate, required qualifications versus preferred qualifications versus desired qualifications, and that'll help us with evaluating applicants moving forward. And the plan is, if you all are comfortable with this and you approve it today in the meeting, that we're going to get busy very quickly here, putting together a job announcement and process for evaluating applicants.
And how long will you have that job announcement?
I didn't have a set amount in my mind. I mean, typically 3 to 4 weeks at most, I think, is probably appropriate.
And how long did we have the previous job announcement, do you know?
I'm guessing it was a month,
Okay.
3 or 4 weeks.
And we got 3 applicants then?
That's my understanding, yeah.
Okay.
And they've been notified that we're going through this revised process, but their applications would still be in the hopper if they wanted them to be, based on the revised job description.
Okay.
And what have you done with emergency services at this point?
Thank you, I meant to bring that up. So, emergency management responsibilities were in the old description, and then I think where we're headed is to actually assign those out to staff so that the county administrator isn't necessarily in that role, because really their job should be more to, if there's truly an emergency situation, be staffing the commission, be the vector of communication with the commission and with the public to the degree the commission directs that, and to have the emergency management responsibilities probably handled by the current assistant emergency manager. And we make some evaluations of compensation and responsibilities based on that, if you all are comfortable with that.
So that position requires some certification and some training, and we do have staff members that have received that training and are certified to be the emergency manager. So what David, I think what he's saying is maybe we'll just stay in-house and make some salary adjustments for people that take those responsibilities on, and take that responsibility away from the administrator, so we'll have to lower the administrator's salary, I guess. No, I'm just kidding.
We will. Any other comments or questions on that one?
I'm fine.
Okay.
Willie's okay. All right, well, thank you, David.
Thank you.
Okay. We got about 20 minutes for our commissioners' meeting, so I will allow you two to go to the little boys' room.
I'm going to the donut shop.
Get donuts.
Make sure you bring enough.
I'm going with the sheriff's department over to the donut shop.
Oh, they have donuts over there, right? Martinez, bring your donuts next time, no? All right, we'll take a little pause here and we will reconvene maybe about 10 minutes till.
I've got a bunch of letters for you all to sign from Natalie Randall. I think Natalie Freestone's got them. They were the sort of letter supporting loan applications.
Reset.
Grant, I think they're grant.
Yes, sorry, grant
Yeah.
applications.
County email.
Oh,
You need to reset it?
Yeah, really, we work.
Oh, you
participate in a prayer? If not, a moment of silence. Otherwise, I will be forced to call upon one of my commissioners to do the invocation. My Nali from all the way from Natchez on is here with us, and he volunteered to do the invocation. Nali.
Thank you, Commissioner. Mr. Reyes, Mr. Mayor Board, Mr. Adams, and then of course, all your members of the commission here. My name is Hank Stevens. I'm from Navajo Mountain, and I'm actually the Navajo Mountain chapter president, represent the community there. So I feel privileged to be able to say a prayer here in the commission, before the commission, and then also that I kind of like to say a prayer in my own language. When we actually teach our kids to actually learn their own language, and we stress that option to our kids. So, and I think that it's an example that I have to be a part of. So with that, I'll go ahead and say the prayer this morning. Thank you. Jean le lef dans son chemin, jusqu'à qu'on s'audit là, on trouve ça, alors qu'on se zinzin qu'on va jusqu'à la destinée, ariat qui sera d'une barre argentine, je vais qu'on alors qu'on est une idée qu'on c'est so et qu'on quoi has ara shin so ho ba ha jon ho wan sa ho ni sa kes na an le ho na ta ho wan dam lo ta an ta yan da aro da ho bi do ha testin da ko ara ha yo ka sha da a ya a na ko si ne da no so ji ko ne ni ya si ni lo ko da ko so zan lin ko be ho et dis ni da ko jon ya de ko ara ha stu ni zan ni da no sen da ko a sa jen da ko sen ki ko a na do tre ji na lin ko shin so a da sa ji da da ko na nene kleni ko na ka digin nene de nene ko ne za a Asian do ne hit ke sin on at in de ko ya te ro hi ya da sin so in ne be chdi kan ne bi ye de ko de ko jo ya te ko na so ko pe da is ni do ka da is get a chen de ko ke ho da ne din do le ko a den hizat ne gi hasin so be yil ki do be ba honi zen zini ha hasin so e be ko de ti ni ko jo ya te ho na de do ni sin ko ta je digin din ko aro de ho ne je ko be chdi ka so be ni den din do le sin ko a de chen na do chi ne ko i je is ka na do chi do ko na o de ne ko i ba din te do do pa na un tan de ko sta je digin ni o ka ti ko aro de ho ko a ni cha si ni le na shin no ko did ni cha zo na do le la yo ka sen sha da a sen na ko sen ha zo na sli do le sa zo na sli amen.
Thank you, Mr. Stevens. Okay, commissioners, have you take some time to go over your minutes from the last meetings? Okay, a motion and a second would be in order to accept the minutes. Motion by Willie, and do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Adams. Thank you very much. We shall approve those minutes. Okay, now we're going down to citizens' comment. Do you have a time going?
Yes, sir.
And
Alan, please come.
And please keep in mind that on your comment, try to be courteous on the time. And then if somebody went over one subject matter, we don't need to go over it again. And any personal attack, I shall stop that report then and there. So therefore, thank you. Ellen Freestone would be the first one.
My comment is I just need some signatures, and one of them's time sensitive. And these are signatures that were approved in the regular budget, so they've been approved, but we just get documents throughout the year. The one that's time sensitive is the state beer tax fund. We have to get back to them, and they give us approximately $30,000.
Okay.
And I need your signature and date on that one.
I'll make a
Commissioners?
motion to allow the chairman to give the signatures that the
Second.
sheriff's office needs.
And the second document is the bailiff security and the perimeter security for the Utah court system.
Okay, for both of them or one, Commissioners?
All of them.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. At CEO is where I sign, right?
Yes.
The first document.
And on that one, I think you're right above the sheriff.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Virginia Jim.
Virginia Jim.
Yes, we have 7 students and 2 chaperones. They're going to be going on that youth conference in Florida, and every one of you have a copy. And they were under the school, but since the school was out, they were told them that you're on your own. Whatever funding that they had raised, they said they can't use it. So they had zero balance to work with. So yesterday we had a food sale, Montezuma Creek, and I came upon you, county commissioners, to help our youth with requesting flight for the youth, the students, 7 students and 2 chaperones, and that would really help us out. And we sent other requests to other, like Anna Chapter and other business. Hopefully they can help us with lodging and their the registration, the fee, and in there it explains everything, and their flights, lodging, their meals, and all that. So what I'm requesting is for the flights for 7 the youth and 2 chaperone from the San Juan County Youth 3 Commissioner Shananta. And they just kind of put them like you're on your own, and we just didn't want our youth to be out there like they had hoped to go to attend this conference. And last year they had took them to San Diego, and the school, I guess, took them with their bus, and they gave them money to eat on. This year they stopped that whole thing. But these kids, like I said, our youth, they have hope, and it's about leadership and culture and their heritage and different tribes. They come together. So last year they said there's about 2,000. So when they get there, they all exchange their culture and the stories, all kinds of stuff. So
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. I don't know, I don't remember something like this coming to us as a request. I know that in chapters they do, but I guess the folks called upon the commission to see if there's any way that we could defray the costs on sending the kits from Aneth area, I believe it is, and some from Red Mesa, to the National Indian Tribal Youth Instagram conference update. I'll leave it up to the 2 of you and see where this goes. Commissioners? Willie? Bruce?
Go ahead, Bruce.
Well, this would be precedent setting for us to do something like this. And so I just, I want to be careful about what we do. But Tammy, how much money do we give each chapter for recreation funds?
It's based on the chapter population, and the chapters have to sign the document to release the funds.
Right.
And then they have to report on that at the end of the year.
And I would have to look and see which chapters have signed that and received the.
Well, this would be
recommendations.
Aneth and Red Mesa is where these kids are coming from.
Kelly did the draw request, so I would have to look and see if Anna and Red Mesa have turned in their letter, but this would.
Do you think it's
qualify.
$3,000 per chapter?
It's more than that for those
More
two
than that?
chapters. Yes, but this would qualify for that.
That would be the only avenue that I think we could take as a commission is to, we give some money to each chapter every year for recreation. And it's up to the chapter how they want to spend that recreation money, whether they want to have a program at the chapter level, flag football, whatever, or whether I know it seems to me like down in Oljeto, they've done some horseback riding camp type things in the past. Or maybe it was helping the horseback riders that ride from one point to another as part of a celebration. I think they've used the funds for that from time to time, but I think to keep us out of any trouble, we ought to have her go back to the chapter of Red Mesa and Anna and request recreation funds to possibly fund this project.
Willie?
We have, I think the county has received any notice or proposal project. This one is scheduled for July 3rd to the 9th. And you indicated 7 students and 2 chaperones. This letter says 6 students.
That was supposed to be going to Anna chapter. The one that's going to Red Mesa is going to have 1 student because they're supposed to email it, but the students are in class with Utah State during the summers. They go to school. They're taking college classes. So I told one of them to email it, but I didn't want to miss this meeting. So I came here straight. Whatever Anna chapter was going to get, I would and just put San Juan County on there. But you guys will get the correct one when they are out of class, and then I can email it back to every one of you. But one paper should have Red Mesa, and then 6 students and 2 chaperones should be Anna chapter. Because all of them, the 6 students and 2 chaperones, they vote in Anna chapter. 1 is Red Mesa. So it's 7.
David?
I think what she's saying is that later there's gonna be a letter emailed that would include 7 kids instead of, that one was originally to Anna, but a corrected letter to San Juan County is gonna be sent, requesting for 7 kids and.
Yeah.
So.
Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Kindle's.
Oh, Kendall.
With the timeline being out to July, I know they probably want an answer today, but with it not being on the agenda and with it being expending of money, I think if the commission's thinking about doing it, I think from an open meetings perspective, it would be wise to put it on the second agenda, the second commission meeting of this month, which would still be before their date. It would be cutting it close, but where it's not on the agenda, I think that would be the best way to keep the county out of Open Meetings Act violation territory.
David?
That would be,
If you decide to agenda it.
Yes, yeah.
In the meanwhile, we can look at some avenues.
program can seek other funding.
The easiest way is to go right to the chapter and ask for recreation funds. Yeah, Tammy?
So Red Mesa has drawn down their funding, and they got $4,050. Anna has not turned anything in yet to get their recreation funding.
Okay.
So
And they would be more than 4,000 because
Yeah.
they have a bigger
if
population.
they need to turn in the paperwork that they were given. We provided it to them twice.
Yeah,
So they need to sign the letter, we release the money, and then they have to administer the recreation
Right.
program, so.
and that takes it out of the commissioners.
That would then take it out of the open meetings,
Yeah.
right? It would take it out of the
There would
commissioner's
be
hands.
no problem with that.
Because you budgeted that money and it's in someone else's hands, yeah.
Okay,
Right.
they haven't turned.
But I think Kendall's point is very important. We really can't deliberate even on the matter in a meeting like this without it being noticed.
We're kind of listening to our attorney that's sitting right there, so it might be best to post it on the next meeting, because that's what we're looking. And in the meanwhile, you need to ask your coordinator on the recreation fund that they're receiving, Aneth and Red Mesa. We still have to deal with them no matter what happens. So go back and give them the requests and see how they work that out. In the meanwhile, we'll be getting ready for that next meeting.
Yeah, so the date is July 3rd to the 9th. That's when they're gonna be over there, and so even though that they had gone over there, if they're gonna be on the next meeting.
So if the commissioners want to put it on the next meeting, it would be on the meeting on, I believe, the 18th of June, right? Is that the next?
18th.
Yeah, it'd be
It's
the-
scheduled
okay.
now, yes.
Yes.
But again,
It would be up to the commission whether it's on the agenda or not, so.
Good. So, commissioners?
Yes.
We, oh, Sonny Boy.
Never received any recognition.
They have to request it.
He had to request it all, this is the first time I heard about it. Is there restriction to all these funds?
Yes. The recreation funds are used for events in your chapter or for children events.
Okay.
And they have to be reported to at the end of the year to the commission on how the money was spent.
Far behind. Okay.
There you go. So, commissioners, I guess we.
Put it on the next agenda. We're not gonna approve
We
it.
can't,
yeah,
Mhm.
we can't talk about it.
right.
No more talking about it. It's not on the agenda.
So we shouldn't have,
Okay.
yeah, Commissioner Grais is correct, we shouldn't have any additional in-depth conversation about this particular item.
All right.
3 minutes is up.
Okay, we're up past 3 minutes, so I guess we go down to the next.
Dave Bucardi.
Huh?
Dave Bucardi.
Dave Bucardi.
That's me.
Welcome, sir.
Thanks. It's a pleasure to be here. So my name's Dave Ficardi. I live on Sunny Acres Lane. It's now famous because of the potential of truck stop. So I just wanted to come down and introduce myself, say hello. So when you hear from us over the next few months, you can go, oh, I remember that Dave Ficardi guy. He came in and said hello. And these days, a lot of people say, oh, we don't need any government. But obviously we do, because someone's got to make the decisions about where the roads get fixed, whether the irrigation line can proceed across land and be approved. And and someone's got to do that work. And you guys are coming in here twice a month. That's just the meetings that everyone sees. There's other stuff going on. It's a lot of work. So I just wanted to say thanks for that. So there's about 80 of us working together up there in northern San Juan County, and we really want to help you guys. We're working together to make sure that our community stays safe and clean and quiet the way it has been. We're not opposed to development. It's just that some kinds kind of get our ire up. And with that, I'll say that 14 years ago, my wife and I moved into Sunny Acres Lane. And you haven't seen me here for 14 years because up till now, the county really hadn't done anything that concerned us. And I kind of felt like, well, even if they did, they might not listen to us anyway. Well, now the county is doing something that concerns us. And we have the feeling that the county is listening to us, and we really appreciate that. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Thanks. We'll be talking.
Mm-hmm.
Hank Stevens.
Hank Stevens.
Thank you, Commissioners. Mr. Adams, Mr. Mayor Boy, Mr. Gray Eyes, David, and John David. Earlier I mentioned that I'm from Atchison, and I'm actually the local chapter president. This morning, Mr. Musselman was talking about the county roads in San Juan County. And we have a situation where BIA and NDOT have actually created a situation with our county roads in Navajo Mountain. And it's really impacting the community right now because we don't have any maintenance being done to the county roads. And NDOT and BIA has only established about 15 miles of road maintenance. And that's just strictly blading the road. And once they blade the southern portion of Navajo Mountain, that's their 15 miles right there. So then we have to wait for another cycle. And that's my concern because the BIA has actually, and NDOT has actually jeopardized the community safety, especially in San Juan County. And the road that I'm talking about is that Paiute Canyon Road. We're having rock falls during the monsoon seasons, and we're having to have using our own equipment to move all them boulders out of the way to make passage for the people living out in Paiute Mesa. And the other thing that we're up against is during the monsoon season, the winter months, there's really no clearing of snows or some of the eroded roads during the monsoon seasons. And it's something that we're constantly dealing with, and I think we need to get back to our partnership with the county that was actually established by the predecessors. And that partnership, got us this far until BIA and NDOT decided to take over the roads, and that mainly the only issue there was the right of way. And as the president of the community, I'm willing to support the county and the commissioners and try to expedite a partnership with San Juan County again, so we can get road maintenance back in its place, because it's impacting our school roads, our bus routes and whatnot. And the other thing too is that we're actually thinking about building that highway between Navajo Mountain and Old Jeto. And in San Juan County has actually been the leading entity to actually start drawing up the highway that will be planned out in Navajo Mountain, and I would like to continue that. Thank you.
That was exactly 3 minutes.
The art of timemanship.
Patrick, Hazel, Garfield.
Patrick Berry from Sunny Acres Lane in San Juan County. Thank you very much for having us. Just wanted to give you a quick update on the Northern San Juan County Coalition and what we've got going on up there, trying to work with your Zoning and Planning Commission to coordinate things. We're not against development, as you know that, and we also realize that San Juan County is very diversified. Just look at us right here as far as our diversification of what we need and want and what's for our safety and protection of our residents. Your needs are different than other people's needs in the county, so we're not trying to make anything countywide. We just want to try and put some things in that are specialized to our area. Primarily, again, the light pollution, the air pollution, noise pollution, those type of things that we want to integrate into the zoning and planning so that it will have a little bit of clout and guidance of where we want to go for our area. So I just wanted to let you know that. We have reached out got a statement from David one of the things we were concerned about. He's the director of SITLA. He wrote back and said, quote, "We are not transferring our authority to Loves or anyone else when they are buying the property. They will have to go through the process like anyone else." We were concerned about SITLA putting on and transferring some of their exemptions onto third parties. We've gotten that taken care of. We're working with Kurt Benj, I think you pronounce his last name. Forgive me if I screwed that up. And Rick Meyer from your San Juan County Health Department, trying to get certain things that we'd like to invest into the health for safety and protection of the residents. That will be covered once they see the plan, but we also want to put some ordinances in there. We've reached out to the Denver Regional EPA, and they're going to be helping us with some things. We also got some medical specialists, hydrologic specialists, and legal specialists on our community. When we're writing something, trying to put it together, it falls on some grounds. What we need from you is to please advise the Planning and Zoning Commission that, if we send you a dark sky ordinance, read it, pass it on, and we'd like to be able to have some input, some direct input, be able to sit down with this and discuss these things that we want this to take place up in the northern section, rather than just trying to, here's a letter, or here's a point. We want to try and
30 seconds.
Put us into it. So anyway, is that the time you said?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate all you do, and thank you for listening to us.
Thank you.
Kim Henderson.
Kim Henderson.
Good morning.
Good morning.
In the past couple months, I have had numerous employees of San Juan County approach me with appreciation for my involvement and comments in prior commission meetings. Every one of these employees have gone on to say, I wish it were possible that I could comment in commission meeting, but I worry about possible repercussions that it will have on my employment with the county. Especially after the resolution that was passed by the commission in regard to employees speaking about county issues. So I am here on behalf of some county employees. At this time, I'd possibly ask for an additional 2 minutes because I do have a couple comments from county employees that I would like to read, if that would be okay.
If we do, then we have to give 2 minutes extra to everybody else. So 3 minutes would be fine.
Okay. It's my understanding that as the chair, you can make the decision on whether to give me the 2 extra minutes.
I just barely commented you on that.
Okay. All right. I just want it also to be known, because I knew I would be going over on the 3 minutes. I requested to be on the agenda and was denied as well to be on the agenda. Comment number 1, as a lifelong citizen of San Juan County, I have extreme worries about the direction the commission is going. I worry for the future of our county. The commission is acting recklessly by doing things outside of the law. The laws are there to protect citizens, and when commissioners feel that they should not be held to the law, citizens of the county will be the ones to pay through additional unnecessary lawsuits, resulting in increase in property taxes. The title of commissioner does not equate to the title of king, and commissioners need to start acting like they work with the citizens instead of special interest groups. I implore the commission to start working with the employees of San Juan County, including other elected officials. I'm begging commissioners to work within established guidelines and laws, including but not limited to the Open Public Meetings Act and procurement codes. This is a great county, an amazing county that we have to live in with amazing citizens, but I fear for our future with the attitude the commission has taken. Comment number 2. As a San Juan County employee, especially in the light of the recent resolutions prohibiting county employees to freely speak their stance on political points.
You have 30 seconds left.
Okay. I have asked Kim Henderson to express some of these concerns today. There are several actions by our county commission, commissioners, Mr. Grayeyes and Mr. Maryboy, that have caused me deep concern. However, I will only address one today because it, above all others, has clearly illustrated, at worst, the disdain and at best, the disinterest these 2 newly appointed commissioners seem to hold for the vast part of their constituents.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll have to hold that comment for the next time, I guess. Thanks.
Amanda Podmore.
Huh?
Amanda Podmore.
Okay, Amanda Podmore.
Thank you, Commissioners Yate, and hello.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Amanda Podmore, and I'm a resident of Bluff. I'm a contractor working for the National Parks Conservation Association to protect our national parks in southeast Utah from the impacts of energy development. I want to start by thanking you for listening to and elevating the voices of the county that have not always been heard. With such a geographically dispersed county and a diverse body of constituents, we really appreciate your substantial steps towards inclusivity. We also appreciate that you took a stand for cultural resources in the county and did not pass a resolution earlier this year supporting the past March 2018 BLM oil and gas lease sale. There have been 2 lease sales in the eastern part of the county in just the last year. And last Thursday, you may have heard the BLM announced another oil and gas lease sale near Recapture Canyon, Tin Cup Mesa, and Hovenweep National Monument. This sale will take place in September, and the public comment is open until July 1st. As you know, the cultural resources in this area are numerous and significant. In fact, the Navajo-Utah Commission, the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe, the Pueblo of Acoma, the Hopi Tribe, and the All Pueblo Council of Governors have asked the BLM to reconsider leasing these same 19 parcels that are in this lease. Additionally, one of the parcels is only 4 miles from Hovenweep National Monument, which is an international dark sky park. Degradation of its dark skies from industrial light pollution would be a loss to both county residents and visitors that come from afar. Last year, the Commission sent a letter supporting the leasing of these parcels. I urge the Commission today to look closely at this sale and its threats to a cultural landscape, and write a resolution to the BLM asking them to consider the cultural, economic, and recreation values of southeast Utah and defer these leases until landscape level planning can occur. I'm leaving you a copy of some maps of the leases and a similar resolution written by Washington County when they too faced energy development at the doorsteps of Zion National Park. Thank you so much, and feel free to reach out to me for questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions, comments?
I'll leave these with you, John David.
Who's next?
Carolyn Daly.
Caroline Daly?
Yatahe, hello, commissioners, and Mr. Everett. I want to thank you to be able to speak before you again. I just want to briefly comment on a comment made by Mr. Jerry McNeely, who's one of your representatives in Spanish Valley at the last commissioners' work session. I don't have a direct quote, but he basically said people in Spanish Valley aren't really opposed to the Love's truck stop. They just don't want it located where the proposed location is. And I just wanted to say that for myself and other members in the Northern San Juan County Coalition, we are opposed totally to Love's truck stop, any truck stop anywhere in Spanish Valley for all the variety of reasons we have talked about in terms of noise, health, air pollution, idling, gas fumes, and all of that. And I just wanted to mention that we have found that there is a precedent in Texas, small towns, for the towns to pass ordinances specifically prohibiting truck stops. And that would kind of take care of the problem if we would just say, hey, we don't want to open our community up to this kind of intensive commercial heavy kind of development. So I just wanted to ask for your consideration of that. And again, repeat that we would really like to work with the San Juan County Planning and Zoning Commission to try to come up with ordinances that will be stringent enough at least to stop a Love's truck stop, or else actually just stop it altogether. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Yeah. You say you're opposed to Love truck stop anywhere, so if Love's put their truck stop at LaSalle Junction, you'd be opposed to it?
No, I'm sorry, I didn't mean anywhere. That would be a great location.
That's what Jerry McNeely said too. He said that the residents weren't opposed to a Love's truck stop, just not in Spanish Valley.
Oh, I thought he said just not at the proposed location, because there was some talk like there's other Sitla property further up the valley. Why can't they move it further south? But still talking about Spanish Valley. So
I was under the impression that we'd actually had a letter from people in Spanish Valley requesting that maybe they look at LaSalle Junction.
Yeah, we did. In fact,
Yeah.
I was one of the instigators in that. But yeah, the LaSalle Junction would be ideal. People start to run out of gas when they get there. There's already been a gas station. There's no housing. The only thing people have said is, well, they'll have to put in a septic system. But so what? There's love scattered all around the country that are in isolated areas.
I
So,
think you misunderstood Mr. McNeely.
okay. Well, I
think
apologize if I
that's exactly
did.
what he said. You're not opposed to a Love's truck stop someplace other
Outside
than
of the valley.
Spanish Valley, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly true, and I'm sorry if I misunderstood what he said.
Yep.
That's all
Okay.
right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is that it?
Yep.
Thank you very much. That will conclude the citizens' comment. And we're gonna go down on our agenda item. Item for discussion, consideration for approval. Tammy Gallegos,
Mr. Commissioner.
San Juan County AG.
I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
point of order, we do have a set time for the public hearing item, which was at 11:30. So
Oh,
probably
yes.
need to go ahead and do that first, and then come back to.
Okay.
Sorry, Tammy.
Okay, considering the law and the policy we have here, the public hearing will be the next item, so I would ask the commissioners to motion and second to go into public hearing.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Adams to go into public hearing. And do I have a second?
Is that supposed to be, if we're going to public hearing, do we need to recess the regular county commission?
No.
Regular meeting.
All right. I think I'll second that.
Second by Commissioner Gray Eyes to go into public hearing, receiving input from public with respect to the items that's particularly on the road portion. All right, who's going to open up? Do I have a presenter?
Yeah, we can have Ben present for a minute.
Oh, okay. Ben,
Really
could you
quickly, just
come
introduce
up
the
here
item.
and
So what we have is the public hearing is for the proposed vacation of a road segment currently known as County Road D2077. It's located in Section 15, Township 37 South, Range 21 East, Salt Lake Base Meridian. The road segment begins at County Road B228 and is approximately 0.47 miles in length. That's the meat of the public hearing. The road is about it's a half a mile north of Highway 95 on what is locally known as Cottonwood Road. That's County Road 228. The reason for the vacation of this road segment is due to the subsidence of old mine shafts and underneath the road. We've had a sinkhole that a vehicle actually ended up nose down into the sinkhole. We have met as the San Juan County Roads Committee and came to the consensus that this road in particular has a limited value, as every road has a value, but it was a part of the Trail Number 1 ATV loop that goes from the north end to all the way down to Lake Powell and around the county. But there was a break in it right at this location, and there is a road immediately to the south of it that is available to fulfill that loop and maintain that loop. So the vacation of the road, essentially, we close the road so the BLM can mitigate the subsidence and the collapsing of the mines. Any questions before you take public comment?
That's the picture that we've all seen last time, yeah?
Sinkhole.
Yeah. Any comment, Commissioner?
No, I think we just open it up for public comment at this point.
Okay. Anybody want to comment on this particular road issue? Committee comment from the audience?
I move we adjourn the public hearing and go back to our commission meeting.
Commissioner Adam makes a motion to get out of the public hearing and back into commission meeting to make a decision. Do I have a second on this?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gray Eyes to get out of the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Now we go back into our commission meeting. Okay, Tammy Gallegos.
Good morning again.
Good morning.
So I have before you today 3 contracts, one for the Medicaid Aging Waiver Program, one for the VA program, and then one for my aging program altogether for signature.
I make a motion that we allow the commissioner to sign the 3 contracts as presented in our work meeting and brought to the commission meeting.
Motion by Commissioner Adams to have the chair sign the 3-year contract that come for us, and second by Commissioner Gray Eyes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
I've got them marked for you.
Contractor signature,
Yes,
or
right
type
there.
name.
Right there. And I'll fill in the dates.
Okay.
And then there's the VA one. Right
Signature
there.
authorized representative right here.
Yep, right there. And last one. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
That's all I have.
Okay, Walter Bird.
Good morning.
Good morning, Walter.
We need to hire a couple of new people. We need to hire an assistant librarian in Blanding. We interviewed 2 people. They'd actually like to propose to hire the one with the second as an alternate in case the first one doesn't accept it. The primary person is London Imlay with Celeste Hill House as an alternate. And the road department would like to hire a seasonal laborer down in the Blanding Road Shed in the South District.
Mhm.
They're proposing Michael James for that position.
Okay, commissioners.
Motion.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Gray Eyes to have the chair sign the 3 documents in case one backs out and one decides to take the position. So on 3, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Tammy leave?
Yep.
Okay. The next item would be, we're done with the public hearing, so John Pillman.
Ben Musselman.
Oh, Ben Musselman.
He left.
That, it's the consideration for approval from your,
Work session?
no, from your public hearing. Because
Oh.
you talked about it in the public hearing.
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah,
you
yeah,
haven't
yeah,
voted on
yeah.
it yet.
We need to act on this public hearing.
The vacation of the.
Right,
Yeah. Do I have a motion to?
Motion.
I'll second the motion to send Willie on vacation.
Okay. Make sure you put the
Oh,
dollars
wait a
on
minute, I
there.
misstated that.
Motion by-
Second the motion to vacate a road.
Motion by Commissioner Gray Eyes and second by Commissioner Adams, and all those in favor to
Aye.
send Willie on vacation. All right, thank you.
Yeah, better be careful, huh?
Okay, now back to Ben.
And that part, that was the Forest Service.
Okay, all right. What about John?
That was the.
There he is.
I'm just back following our
discussion this morning to present this loan agreement for possible signature by Chairman Maryboy. I'll make a motion that we allow the chairman to sign the loan agreement with the Monticello Cemetery District.
Do I have a second?
Second, with the directive to begin the process of procedure,
Okay.
policy and procedure.
Okay. Second, with the directive by the second party, Commissioner Gray Eyes, for the record. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now, it says lender. That would be us, right?
Right.
So I sign there.
Mm-hmm. And I'll fill in that other information there if you don't.
First time I lend out that much money.
Well, may not be the last. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Nick?
Thanks, Jeff.
Nick Sandberg.
That's, I think it's just the
If
same.
not, do we have
I think
Kendall?
he just wanted to get the easement for across Sitla, so I'll make the motion that we allow that we ratify the chairman's signature that took place earlier and allow for the easement across Sitla in Indian Creek take place.
Okay, that's, I will acknowledge that. Do I have a
Second.
second? Okay, second. So when he brings it up, we'll just go ahead and.
You've signed it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the
You've
one
signed
for-
So all
We're
those in
just
favor?
ratifying. Aye.
Thank you. Okay, Kendall?
Commissioners, this is just mostly in this situation, mostly just an information item for the commission so that it's in an open meeting. So with regards, I know there has been some question, Commissioner Gray Eyes has asked about it a couple of times. A lawsuit on a civil 1983 action between San Juan County, myself as a named party, as well as, and then the plaintiff is Rosalie Chilcote. That case, so I'm just coming to you to let you know as an information item, the way that process works when a claim is made against the county or against a county employee in the action of in the carrying out of their duties as a county employee or a county official. When the claim is made, then we pass that claim immediately on to USIP, the Utah County's indemnity pool. They then will review it to see if they have coverage based on our plan with them, and based on the coverage that we received from USIP. In this case, they determined that it was covered. It was a covered claim, and so they then assign an attorney to that at USIP's expense. And so that case, that's where that's at. So for information, and so that it is in a public meeting, USIP has assigned Blake Hamilton with Durham, Jones, and Pinniger to be the attorney representing the county's interests in that matter. So if there's additional questions about the litigation in general, we do have a closed session to discuss that, and that would be the appropriate place to discuss any specifics about the litigation or anything else. This is mostly just an information item so that the public is aware that what the county is doing as far as counsel on that matter.
Okay. Well, thank you for the information, Commissioner.
USIP is our liability insurance carrier, and they insure most of the counties in the state of Utah. Part of the insurance is to insure elected officials and employees against liability claims. So this is not anything unusual. It's something that USIP has in their insurance policy. Kenneth, you and Willie are insured just the same as I am or any other elected official. So there's nothing unusual about it. It's a matter of you know, if you go out and have a car wreck and damage or injure somebody else, your insurance company covers you. This is our insurance company covering an elected official who has been, had a claim filed against them. So that,
Question.
Willie?
So this claim is not against the San Juan County?
yes, it is.
It is. San Juan County is
Is
a
it?
named party as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And
What?
and I think I can shed some more light on that, on how that all works, but I think it would probably be more appropriate in the closed meeting, because it does dive into some of the nuances or some of the specifics of the litigation. But I'd be happy to explain how that all coordinates and how that all works with you.
My concern would be how in the world is an elected official to position themselves as a county elected official, to position themselves to be sued, which would include the whole county. That would be my question.
So oftentimes I'll speak in general terms, not about this litigation in particular, but there has been litigation in the past. I know Commissioner Maryboy, when he was on the commission previously, when the redistricting lawsuit was filed. I don't know if you remember, but the commissioners, in that case, the commissioners were sued individually, and then the county was sued, and shortly after the lawsuit was filed, the commissioners as individuals were dropped off, and the lawsuit remained between, in that case, the Navajo Nation and San Juan County. And so it does happen. It's a strategy that attorneys use, that plaintiffs' attorneys use regularly, which is to sue everybody they can, knowing that early on a lot of those are going to fall off and disappear. And so it is something that actually is pretty common, just as a litigation strategy. But that's just one example. I didn't mean to necessarily point out Commissioner Maryboy, but because I think Commissioner Adams was also included on that originally, on that lawsuit. But then they were removed, and now the lawsuit is just with San Juan County. And so it is something that happens on a regular basis. But that's why we have coverage from the Utah County indemnity pool.
All right.
If that's all until the closed meeting, I'm.
Commissioners?
all I have.
All right, well, thank you, Kelly.
Yep.
John David Nelson, San Juan County Clerk.
So, just requesting, and we talked about the 2019 tax sale in the work meeting. I'm just requesting your approval of the results of that tax sale. Also with the state assessed property, where there's not going to be a chance that that we're able to get that redeemed. Just to write those taxes off.
Commissioners?
I'll make a motion that we approve the tax sale.
Second.
A second by Commissioner Gray Eyes. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, David?
This is the policies and procedures of the San Juan County Commission, as discussed previously in the meeting. Just looking for your approval of them.
So move to approve.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Gray Eyes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Adams to approve the rules and procedures and the county administrator job description. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Thank you very much.
Sorry, to be clear, we did both items there?
Yes, I call that
Okay.
into the record too, and Commissioner Adams concurs, says yes.
Great, thank you.
I acknowledge that. Thank you very much. Commissioner's report. I guess I'll start off, and I feel really bad that I didn't go to the blessing of the Hogan. And of course, as a Navajo medicine man, if somebody comes by and immediately they'll grab your medicine bundle, meaning that you will be following the patient. So that's what I've done, just right then in the morning. The people came by and went to Round Rock and did my prayer and chanting over there, and at the same time, Bruce went to Moab, and Willie had a chapter meeting. Later in the week, I'd like to thank Commissioner Adams and Commissioner Gray to come into Mexican Water chapter for our Veterans Memorial Weekend. We had a great turnout. The wind wasn't too friendly, but other than that, I roasted a pig. We had a barbecue roast pig and turkeys, and we had quite a few veterans and people come by to be with us. And we kind of got together and talked about some county issue without making the decisions, just sat there and talked about what are the possibility of doing other things to help defray the folks in San Juan County, irrigations or any other means. And I think the meeting went very well, and thank you, David, for being there as well. And we had a pretty good turnout. I will be headed to Red Mesa School here pretty soon to meet with the PAC group. And thank you for the citizens' comment. Thank you. I think Bruce and Wooly and David, we talked about working more closely with the staff. I don't think the staff needs to run to anybody to ask for any voice. I believe that these are good workers, and I stand behind them, and I work with them for so long. Ben's still here, and your previous road construction worker I work very well with, and I know that Tammy does very well in her position. And we're thinking about doing a family picnic here pretty soon in the near future to spend more time with the family out there. And nothing should change, and they shouldn't worry, and everything's going to be okay. And I know that this is going to be on the headline of the San Juan Record, but I stand behind that. And thank you very much, and I stand to have a motion to adjourn.
Well, we have other commissioner reports.
I'd like to make a report.
Commissioner Gray. Either one of you.
You ready? Okay, I did attend the blessing of the Hogan down at Hoorah Pass. It was a number of Native American people. In fact, I was probably one of only a couple of Belaganas that were even at the
They were
blessing.
singing the loudest, huh?
I wasn't singing, no. But it was very enlightening and very enjoyable. I had a joint highway meeting call last week. They're trying to re-establish the UAC Joint Highways Committee, and I guess Jeremy Red's gone. He's been the vice chair from the cities. Also had a call since we met last on UAC dues. I forwarded that email to you, David. Just got it today.
Okay.
So you need to look at that. That's what's being proposed for the future for UAC dues. Tomorrow and Thursday, I'll be meeting with the Bears Ears Advisory Committee at the Hideout, representing San Juan County local elected official. The 10th, next Monday, we're meeting with the Grand County Council in Moab, I believe that is. Is that in their council room, David?
No, it's going to be at the Spanish Valley, or sorry, this Old Spanish Trail Arena. So in Spanish Valley out there, I think the idea is to hold it under the big pavilion awning they
Okay.
have. And so if there's bad weather, they'll move it inside.
How about moths?
You may want to bring some netting.
If there's moths there, we'll go inside.
Yes.
I have 2 training retreats, one from the 12th to the 14th with CIB in Vernal, and one from the 19th to the 21st with USIP in Torrey, Utah, that I'm going to be attending. The other question I had is there has been some discussion about the fact that we're meeting with the Grand County Council next Monday. Are we still going to have a scheduled commission meeting on the 18th?
So, thank you for bringing that up. There had been some discussion about maybe not having a meeting on the 18th, but as Natalie Freestone reminded me, we actually have already noticed a public hearing for the CIB application for that date. However, that's likely to not be a very controversial item. I imagine it would go very quickly. So my advice to you would be to still have a meeting on the 18th, but if there was the need to keep it short, we could certainly make that happen in terms of the agenda.
So it would turn into mostly a public meeting then a public hearing on CIB applications.
Right.
Rather than a full commission meeting.
To have the CIB here, we can get together and do that, but...
The CIB won't be here, Kenneth. It'll just be what David and the county are proposing for a CIB meeting in the future in Salt Lake, just to receive public comment on the applications.
It's a CIB requirement.
Yeah, it's a requirement.
We have that school. Fun.
I'm okay with either way. Either we not have it or have it.
Okay.
It's up to you two commissioners.
We need to fulfill that CIB requirement. That's really important.
Yes.
Before we can take anything on to CIB, we've got a couple of applications that are time sensitive, so we need to get them before the CIB as soon as possible.
And we've put in the applications, but if we don't do the hearing in time, then they won't consider
fund
it.
it.
Yeah. Okay.
So we ought to at least have the meeting long enough to hold the public hearing.
Right.
On the
It'll be a very
18th.
short meeting.
Okay. You done with your report?
Yeah.
Commissioner. Also, if one of the commissioners was wanting to put it on the agenda to discuss the school issue that came up during the open meeting, then it would need to be on the agenda for the 18th as well. So I just wanted to point that out.
That's what I was going to
Okay.
mention. Anticipated.
Well, the joint meeting is coming up, and we, by rule, we still can, in our behalf, we can act on our items.
Our policy says we can have a special meeting, which the joint meeting will be like special meeting.
Yeah.
Therefore, the regular scheduled meeting will also be continued. So that's the way I understand.
I mean, what's the sense going to a joint meeting if you're not going to do anything? You might as well just sit there and be a part of the audience.
Well, I think the idea of the joint meeting is to have a good chance to communicate directly with the council members in Grand County. So
Yes.
That's a lot of the value of that meeting for sure. There won't. My guess is, if anything, there might be a motion to direct or to say we need to study something further or act in a certain way, but there won't be a lot of substantive items in terms of action on the joint meeting.
David, is that meeting then going to be recorded by county seat and played later on the county seat program?
They've contacted me and we're playing a little bit of phone tag, but that's the
Okay.
hope. Yeah, that's the goal. So, but we could certainly have a very expedited meeting on the 18th if that's the direction of the commission.
Yeah.
I would propose we have a meeting on the 18th from 9 to 9:05.
That's a good idea, there, boss. Well, it is your commission meeting.
But the way the way things roll, it would be probably add another 5 minutes.
Could be 9:10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, my report is short and sweet. We have a schedule. What is it? 10th is, as usual, indicated a joint meeting with the council. You said the council, not the commission?
Grand County Council and the San Juan County Commission.
Yeah. That's what I noticed. They're both C groups, some words, but one is shorter and the other one is longer.
That's right. One is more efficient.
Anyway, the 14th is the 7 County Infrastructure Coalition meeting, which I'm a member. They'll be having their session up in Vernal, Utah, on the 14th. And backing up on Wednesday, the 12th, if anyone is interested, we're having our Nassau chapter meeting. Probably talk about the road and possibly adopt a resolution to support the two parties, San Juan County Transportation and NDOT or BIA, to continue work together to address the needs of the Navajo people on the reservation.
When you and Kenneth meet with the president, he promised he would get economic development money to do that road when he was a delegate.
Mm-hmm.
You need to remind him.
Okay.
You have to.
So that'll be considered at that time. If anybody's interested, 4 hours to Navajo Mountain from here. So.
Okay.
And then we have what we call the Western Navajo Agency Council meeting. All of the 18 chapters within the Western Navajo Agency come together to receive reports and pass resolutions. That's on the 15th at a place called Copper Mine, Arizona. That's just south, about 22 miles south of Page, Arizona, on Highway 20. And 16th, I have nothing scheduled. 18th, we have a school board meeting. Then the 18th, we'll be back over here again. 19th, sign up for Division of Natural Resource Summit over in Twin Arrows under the Navajo Nation. So we'll be meeting with the state conservationists, soil and water conservation organizations, executive director for Navajo Nation natural resource. So there'll probably be, I don't know how many, 200. I'm sure a lot of land, natural resource elected officials will be all going in that direction. So that's on 19, 20, and 21st. And the last I scheduled is 27, which is that's community land use planning meeting. 10 o'clock at that's on Navajo Mountain Chapter House. Maybe a good idea would be to invite the person from here, land use planner.
Walter?
Either one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Give us some insights.
Can you give details?
Yeah. He's the chair and he's the chapter president, so there's two resource people. And that's about it, and I've been trying to listen to council delegate. I guess I don't hear it too good anymore. I haven't heard anything from him on the proposed request for meeting with the president.
We don't have a representation from Utah, that's the problem. I don't think none of them care less to see what they can do for us folks in Utah.
26. I have a question.
So, Biga?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, motion to approve that, oh, Bruce.
Yeah, I did get one letter I want to read. It's real short. This came from United States Senator Mitt Romney. It was May the 22nd. He said, Bruce, it is my pleasure to report that the Senate Committee on Indian Affairs voted unanimously to approve the Navajo-Utah Water Rights Settlement Act, a bipartisan bill I was proud to introduce with Senator McSally and Senator Sinema. Now this bill heads to the floor of the Senate, and I will urge my colleagues to vote in the affirmative. Thank you for your persistent dedication on this issue. We could not have made progress on this settlement without your leadership in Utah. Sincerely, Mitt Romney. We worked on this thing for at least 14 years. And it's only taken 14 years to get the Senate Committee on Indian Affairs to finally vote on this and send it on to the Senate, after which they will have to appropriate the money to deal with the implementation of the Navajo Water Rights Settlement and the Navajo Water Rights Settlement Act. And I think the estimate right now is a little over 200 million. So I'm excited to get this letter. I'm excited to see progress made on this. I've worked with a number of commissioners, including Commissioner Maryboy and many others, going back to DC and meeting with senators and representatives and discussing this issue and trying to work our way through it, meeting with the state on water rights to try and make sure that it's a fair settlement, and it was agreed upon by the Navajo Nation, and it looks like something might happen in the future. The future could be a long ways out.
That's right.
But we made it this far.
We also been involved in this effort from not only from the state of Utah. We went out and reached to Rahalka for the Arizona and also to state of New Mexico. So it's been a trying effort. just to mention the Utah, it's pretty well known that for the state of Arizona and New Mexico are also in very strong support in these efforts. So I'd like to express that, and not just the Utah has been supportive. So I'd like to make that remark.
Thank you very much. Thank you on that good information, Bruce. David, could you prepare a response to that to the United States Senate? Mitt Romney, that the San Juan County appreciates the position that he's taken, and also in behalf of the Utah Navajos, that it's been a long, hard haul that we've been waiting for this to come through, and now it does, and we appreciate that, and on behalf of all the citizens in San Juan County as well. So thank you very much. Okay, do I have a motion to accept the reports?
Motion to accept. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Adams and second by Commissioner Bruce Adams, and all those in favor? Aye. Gray eyes. Correction for the record. Okay, folks, we're going to be advancing on to the a closed meeting, executive session, or whatever you want to call it.
Excuse me.
Kendall, who do you would like to stay here?
Yes,
besides
I gave one to,
that's just a brief description.
each one of them things that are mentioned in there.
I have to break.